Hello guys, welcome back to another AD Talks.
Hello, hello.
Today we have a spotlight night with Kelly and Belle, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, I remembered. First name I remembered.
I'm glad.
And again, it's not an elven name, so.
Oh, I know, just a normal human name, unfortunately.
But yeah, as it usually is with spotlight night, we have a guild, spotlight as well. So if you guys want to introduce your guild and tell us a little bit what it is about, we can just dive right into it.
It's the Lions Guild this week, so I don't have a clue.
Yeah, so we actually used to be the Dawn-Scale Vanguard. We ended up being one of the bigger sort of military guilds on Argent Dawn. But we've transitioned recently into a house guild. I know, typical. But it's to give our members more of a relaxed sense of RP and events. So it's more focused on their own character stories, which a lot of them seem to enjoy more, and it gives them a chance to socialize more with other people in the guild rather than being strict military all the time, I suppose.
I have never understood the massive aversion to house guilds. I just
Well,
can someone fill me in? On the...
yes, I think I could.
That could be an entire topic.
Go
on
for
its
it,
own,
Kelly.
Tell us a little of it.
I mean, it's the whole Game of Thrones effect, really.
I think
Yeah,
house
but I
guilds
mean,
became more of a.
House guilds have been around long before Game of Thrones.
I think, especially for Horde side, it's more like elves tend to like their house guilds, so the Blood Elves. It's like the nobility sort of thing, and people like to.
But I kind of like the idea because it gives you a lot of very niche guilds are awesome because they do one particular thing very well, but they can struggle with that, and it basically excludes them from a lot of other roleplay. And I feel like ideas like house guilds, where you have the politicians and you have the house militia and you have the family line and all those kind of things, I think it opens up a lot more avenues for potential RP. And I don't know, to me it just seems like a good idea.
oh yeah, definitely. So we've obviously transitioned from the military sort of side of guilds to house guilds, and so it allows our members to sort of focus on maybe their professions. I see a bit more.
That'd be a good bit of profession RP.
So they get to sort of, if they're a blacksmith, they get to make things for other members, or if they prefer their alchemy sort of stuff, they can brew potions if they want for members, and I think they prefer that sort of RP. Wouldn't you say, Kelly?
Yes.
Long pause.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, it's not a real change in a sense, because we were always, the Dawn-Scale Vanguard obviously was led by Derek and you, two nobles, and before the merge of your older guilds, both of you also ran house guilds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, after 2 years, it's just like, let's change it up.
Yeah, like when I came back to RP, because I took a small break from RP and just sort of middle of Legion, and when I came back, the first guild I joined was a house guild, was House Landford. But after that, I decided that I would give it a go myself, and after that, I met Derek through Roleplay, and then we decided to, when our characters obviously got married, we decided to merge the guilds then, and create a bigger guild.
Was it a marriage of love or a marriage of convenience?
I would say love. My character Belle's quite young. When she met Derek, she was only 21. She's 23 now. I've been RPing her for 2 years. But when they'd met, she was already sort of engaged to someone else. But eventually that person didn't want to play anymore, and then Derek and I decided, yeah, you know what, we'll get married ideally, and then sort of merge our guilds and create a bigger guild. Because I think he had about 20 members and I had like 50 in my little guild, and I was quite good at recruiting.
If you want a little guild, I'll tell you about the Myrmidon.
50 active ones, though. Not online.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you mentioned it's sort of a house guild, and I mean, it's an interesting topic on its own. That could be a whole other thing, but
Really, yeah, truly.
what makes yours stand out above the rest?
I like to think that a lot of house guilds, you see, what they do is they tend to pop up for a few weeks and then they'll disappear. They tend not to stick around a lot because people can't. The GMs tend not to want to keep people's interest, and then people leave. But our current member base, a lot of them have been with us for over a year. And I like to think that we provide them with different opportunities to create their own events, to create their own RP that we're not physically having to do for them. Like, oh, here's an event every week. A lot of them are coming to us now and saying, well, I'd like to do an event. And we're quite more than happy to help them create their event and sort of their own RP through that
I've
event.
always been a big fan of that kind of idea where, if you can create an environment where people are encouraged to bring, their stuff to the table and like to be creative about their own stories, it's so much better and easier, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like obviously, we've obviously been part of like campaign-wide events, but I think the members really enjoy when it's an event about a certain member's background and they get to, dive into this sort of story, said member's past or whatever it is that they're fighting. I mean, we had an event, when was it, yesterday, that was made by one of our members that was based on her. So, people in the guild got to see this part of this member's life, if that makes sense, through this event. So it was quite nice.
That's awesome.
I do love it when you have guild members who are willing to put forward their own sort of stories.
Oh yeah, I think we're definitely very lucky there that we've got quite a lot of members that are willing to, put them, even if they're quite new to DM and they're like, oh, can I have a shot? And I think that's, even if they're not a native English speaker, a lot of our members are patient with them and help them out as well, and it gives them confidence to make more events. So.
No, that's good. Sorry, I interrupted you, Kelly.
Oh, no. What I was going to say is I think what makes us stand out a bit more is we tend to not spend so much time in Stormwind. I mean, unless it's downtime where people can do whatever they want, sure. Most people gravitate towards the
RP
pub,
hubs, yes.
which is fair. But, I think the Vanguard was... I mean, I know we're not the Vanguard anymore, but, we do a lot of events, or I think we had the reputation that we did a lot of events. And I will say, the schedule was quite extensive. But we did a lot of events, and a lot of those events were not in Stormwind. And I think most of the house guilds, they just linger, in Stormwind. There's the occasional Stormwind noble drama, which everyone hates, which might be why the noble houses don't get a lot
that could play into it,
yeah. So
I'd say it's a broken record at this point.
So for a very long time, we have been very good, or I will say Belle has been very good at keeping out of that.
I prefer not to, because it ends up getting to this point where it becomes OC drama, and I'm not into that either. I'm like, well, keep it icy. Don't talk to me about it in whispers. Talk to me about it in character. I'm not really like to indulge in noble drama.
I think we've also been doing so well because of the community. Like you mentioned, like the members wanting to do things and contribute, but also like we're very social. We do. We talk a lot in the voice chats. We do all other things outside of as well. And there's quite a few strong characters.
Our members enjoy to, even on their downtime, they enjoy to sort of socialize in our Discord, and they'll play other games together. So sometimes we used to have a game night where we'd all play like one game, like Town of Salem.
Or Scribblio.
Or, they'll play HOTS together, or they'll play Overwatch together. I think they're quite a social bunch, and, we're quite grateful for that they're willing to sit in there. I mean, they'll sit in the voice chat from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes some of them are there really late at night.
9 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, like 9 a.m. You were in there from 9 a.m. today, weren't you?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, okay. Well,
Caught red-handed.
don't expose me. Fuck, I've been
Gonna call you
exposed.
right out.
Been bamboozled.
Yeah,
And
I
then
need
some
to
of them
leave
will
now.
stay up really late till 4 a.m.
Yeah, the people with non-healthy sleeping schedule.
Like Jamin and Zord. Just call them out.
Jack, yeah, so many.
Wow, we're here to spotlight this guild. She's just calling their members out.
Just call them out. They'll love it though.
I
They'll
mean,
get a
she
message.
decides how she wants to spotlight it.
Brutal.
Yeah.
But I respect that.
I'll get a
an
message later.
exposing
You
spotlight.
exposed me?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
That's what a spotlight is, guys.
Yep,
Alright.
that's what it is.
I mean, what you said your intent it was to be more military when creating it.
Yeah, so obviously the guild was sort of created around about 2 years ago, the first guild anyway. And you know, our intent was to have sort of a social space that was sort of military RP, but more relaxed military RP, you know, we didn't force our members into uniform.
Yeah.
But they were to wear colours that sort of went with what the tabard was. But you know, we were one of the bigger, obviously, guilds on the servers. We would have maybe 30 members at an event. And if we did campaigns, we'd have maybe 30 to 40 members online during that time.
Yeah, we broke our record at the Lordaeron one.
Yeah,
what's it called?
I'm assuming you two heard of it, obviously, the big Drums of War campaigns.
The pre-VFA one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes,
we
I
were
heard.
part of that. So we were part of part 1 and part 2. Part 1, we didn't have very many members attend that. They weren't really interested in the Night Elf bit, which is, you know, which is fine, obviously. But when it came to part 2, which was obviously the Lordaeron part, you know, we were maxing out a raid group with how many members we had online, and obviously we played a major part in the Plagueland area.
Western
I was-
Parkland.
Yeah, I was helping command forces there, so I got on quite well with some of the horde leaders as well, because our lot behaved really well at that.
Yeah,
Allegedly.
So we
which
made,
is always commendable in those kind of massive events.
oh,
like that.
definitely, especially when the campaign went on for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a long time for them to behave, and they behave. Like, I got to give it to my members at the time; they behaved very well. I was very proud of them. Because obviously, you know, even a 2-week campaign is a very long time to keep people's attention, but they were still logging on every day, really excited to RP PvP with hordes. So I was really proud of them for that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
How long has your guild been around then?
We've been around for just over 2 years. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Um,
Been around for
Yes.
2 years.
Yeah, longer than most other guilds, I believe. I believe they sort of peak about a year, like we did, and then they'll disappear for a while, and then kind of
I
come
don't
back
Lucky
again.
to get
I think the longest running guild we've had is with Brigante, isn't it? Or is it your
a
guild,
Brigante,
Mariki?
yeah.
I think we're a smidge older than Brigante's guild, but it's pretty close.
But have you had like consecutive activity, no breaks?
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, that's
Pretty much.
I mean, it's the same for us, yeah.
Yeah,
But
we have
you
the
see-
obviously the break over Christmas.
Oh, but that's not a break.
I mean,
No,
there's
it's
been
like-
quiet spells. There's obviously quiet
Yeah.
spells, I think, and everything. Like people, especially over Christmas. When our guild, we have quite a lot of people who have quite busy IRLs, like students and people who work. A lot of people who work in the NHS and parents and things like that. So, especially around times of holidays and stuff,
Yeah,
it can
this
get pretty quiet. But we have a very active Discord.
oh, so do
But I
we.
think it comes back to that thing that you said about playing games outside of Warcraft as well. If you have that sense of community
Mhm.
between your members, then you know there's much more holding people there than just.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think our members have, you know, especially now, they have like a sort of banter, but they know where the line is, if that makes sense. So they tend not to. You hope anyway. They tend not to cross over that line too much.
I think you
But,
sort of
you know,
learn that barrier with the interaction you have with people as it is.
oh yeah,
Because there's
I
certain
think
ways you act with a certain group and then different ways you act with another group.
I have to give it to our lot. You know, there can be like 15 people in the voice chat, and they're, you know, they don't tend to talk over each other. They'll tend to just sort of listen to one person and then answer it, and you know, but they want to sit in there when they're RPing. They want to have that.
Are you sure they don't have some like speaking conch where they hold it and take turns?
They have to hand around the stick.
Oh my god! I can just imagine them all holding a stick.
Mine
now.
do not. When mine are in a voice chat, it is in chaos.
Yeah, I'm really proud of mine. You know, they'll sit in the voice chat, and you know, they do let others speak, and they're not really shouting over each other
And
most
that,
of the time.
friends, is the difference between a military house guild and a criminal guild.
I know.
Well, now you know who the more chaotic people are.
They're well disciplined anyway.
How do you go about recruitment then?
So we actually have a form that so our recruiters fill out. Normally it's the Vanguard and above that can recruit, because it's, you know, I trust that it's not that I don't trust my other members, but the Vanguard are sort of people who have been here for quite a while and have earned that rank. That's one of our things. They recruit, and they recruit using a form that they sort of fill out IC and OOC. So it's just basically a series of questions that's sort of like the person's name, age, occupation, if they've got a medical training, and even a criminal record. We tend not to recruit people who have a criminal record, so...
Damn it!
Yeah, but what if they lie? Just in bold letters, I am not a criminal.
No, sir, not here.
We normally, what we normally do is we normally get them to ask the extent of the crime they've committed. If it's like, oh, I stole an apple when I was 12, I'm like, that's fine. That's not.
Do you know what? You say that, but I used to actually run a military style guild years and years and years ago, and criminal record was also one of the questions that was on our application, and someone did say he did get caught for scrumping, which is the theft of apples, when he was a kid, and I was like, I think we'll let that one slide, mate.
I mean, normally those sort of smaller ones we do let slide, but you know, it wouldn't make much sense to have a really criminal person in a house guild, I suppose, where there's strict rules and stuff if they're not going to follow them, I suppose.
You're open. Are you open to people trying to wiggle their ways in, though? As long as for RP, obviously, not to cause some drama. But you know, there's a.
We have had a member that their character did have a criminal record, but the way he's played it out has been quite interesting for people in the guild to see. So
that's kind of interesting. I kind of like that there's leeway for story.
Yeah, well, it led to like a big event he held. It involved several members from the guild, and you know, he's actually gained trust of people from that. So it was quite I applauded his creativity for that. You know, not many people can do that if successfully. Anyway.
All right.
As for where we recruit, we have a few recruitment announcements up on different Discord servers. Mm-hmm. There is the Argent archives page. We don't have a forum post, and I don't think we'll get one. There's one on the Argent archives anyway, and we do.
I'll be updating that soon.
What's it called? We do you send in the goal to the team, and then they will put up the banners on the site.
Yeah.
And then we do things like this, you know, gun podcasts. But normally we are in the cathedral, like everyone else.
Put the banner up on the planner.
Or we're just socializing, and then we get swarmed, right?
So many banners up there.
Well, the past few days we've been in the cathedral, we've just been RPing, because that's where they like to RP, because obviously that's where everybody RPs, like statues. But, you know, we've been swarmed by people asking if we're recruiting, because we're just quite a lot of members on at one time. You know, we maybe have 11 members in one area, and people are like, oh, that's a lot of members. Are you recruiting? And you're like,
Yeah.
No, I want to RP. I want to know
Not
the
this moment in
recruitment.
time.
Can you come back later?
Very bad.
But yeah.
How do you decide if a character's fit for your guild?
Normally, we judge it from their TRP to start with. I do like people who put work into their TRP, but especially if you're a new RPer, you tend not to. We've had a few of our members that have been newbies. For example, one of our members that's just returned Koshua, when he first joined, he was a newbie to RP. His TRP was very basic, but we encouraged him through our recruitment and through RPing with the guilds to obviously become more of an experienced RPer. So, that's how we sort of work out if somebody's, worth trying to recruit first, and then we'll have a chat IC to gauge what they're like, because sometimes, a TRP can look amazing, but the person maybe is not nicest IC, or I don't think they might fit with our lot.
Okay.
Our lot are quite...
I can be quite lazy with my TRPs, just to mention that.
Yeah.
I don't mind people who are obviously lazy with them. If you like to RP a lot of characters, you might not put, a lot into it. But if an RP, if a TRP grabs me and I think, oh, that looks quite nice, or when you're hovering over someone, if it looks, or if their transmog's quite nice, I'm
The effort they
quite
put into their
good
character.
transmog.
Then,
Yeah.
I think
That's how I tend to.
It's
Yeah,
quite
I
a
mean,
good idea to
we're
find
not
someone
that
that's willing to
elitist
put a
when
bit
it
of
comes down
bit
to
of effort in.
Sorry,
In my experience.
I mean, I would say that we're quite easygoing when it comes to recruitment. I know some people are very much like, oh, they can't join our guild because something,
They're not cool
they
enough.
maybe spelt that word wrong. And
Oh Lord. That's some high stakes.
I mean, I know I have spelt a few words wrong in a few events that have caused my members to burst out crying with laughter. I think Kelly can remember which one it is.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
I don't think you would be allowed to.
It'll, I don't know if you can keep this Twitch server.
I spelled a word wrong and it caused my members to. I think they were crying for half an hour.
Yeah.
As I was trying to do this cross guild event, so I everyone spells a word wrong, and even especially if you're not native English speaker, which a lot of our members aren't.
Or even if you are native.
Even if you're like me and native, yeah, I suppose.
It happens to everyone.
That's when you're sitting typing a word and you think, how do you spell that
Happens
word?
to
So then
me
you
a
have to
lot.
think of another word to insert instead because you didn't know how to spell the first word. Oh, that's me.
For me, it isn't even debating how it's spelled. It's just that I just type too quickly and then just press enter without checking.
Yeah, not checking.
Yeah.
That's my fatal flaw as well.
I'm just like, here we go.
Just not
Type that
checking.
out. There you go.
Oh, I normally don't check, because I really enjoy the sort of medical RP, so I'm one of the people that spams the emotes. I do a 5-paragraph emote for healing your wound.
We have one of those too. A priestess.
And I have to always
every
apologize.
time.
I have to apologize in the cathedral every time. I'm like, sorry. Everyone's like, oh, what?
Do you really have to apologize? I think half of them aren't paying attention.
I think half of them don't read it either.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look at this effort I've put into this emote. Like, I'm healed, thank you.
/E.
Thanks, bye.
Nice.
Is healed.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
god, that'd be so annoying. You put so
can
much
you
effort to
imagine?
emote and then just /E is healed.
I've had that before. I've had that, and I'm like,
Really?
oh. And it just
I'm
makes
just
me
like,
sit, and I'm like, but yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about maybe an adventure your guild has had that stands out?
Probably our Drums of War campaigns actually. The first
I think
one
they count because you were obviously whatever.
I think the first Drums of War campaign we were on, that was, I think, Kelly and I, is that our first RP PvP ever?
You and me? or the guild?
Well, I know it was the guilds first.
Or yeah, it's
one.
the first RP PvP one. Yeah.
Kelly and I were probably the only ones active for that one at the time, because I remember having to save Kelly from, was it the Hand of Conquest? I think.
No, I think it was the other way around.
No.
Kelly. Okay, we're not going to get into that.
But the Hand of Conquest people were quite nice about letting you go, so it was okay. And then obviously. And then obviously part 2, we played a major part in the Plague Lands, and that's obviously the part the Alliance won, was the Siege of Lordaeron, and we were quite excited to be a part of that sort of massive big RP PvP event, because I think most guilds on the server were at that event.
Yeah, they probably weren't in our zone. Let's not talk about Silver Pine, but Western Plague Lands was great.
I didn't even go to the event myself. We had our own personal guild sort of one. Where,
I mean,
our guild went into the fire, basically.
We were in the big. They ended up taking big photos of I think it was the last day of the campaign, and I really enjoyed being a lieutenant, because I was the lieutenant for one of the commanders in the zone. He picked 2 lieutenants, and he picked myself and one of my friends, Gladiator.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoyed sort of being in that leadership role for the first time. It was quite nerve-wracking, but
it can be a headache at times.
Oh,
Especially
I know.
in those huge big.
I OOC'd for most of it, so I was in the air just ensuring everything was going as planned and people weren't sort of abusing abilities and stuff.
Gladiator was a very good officer as well for you to work with. You two worked very well together, I felt.
Yes, it was enjoyable. It was one of... Yeah.
Sorry, would you care to tell us a little bit about your current member base, like the active member base you have at the moment? What are they like?
Oh, yes, right, okay. I'll mention... I'm allowed to mention a few names, am I?
Members. I mean, it's up to you, your guild.
I'll mention them here.
I can't decide for you.
So, our current member base is very diverse, I would say. They come from obviously different sort of areas in Europe. I've got quite a few from the UK. I've got a few from Sweden. A few from
Yes.
Denmark, and one from France. Yeah.
What?
Effie. I think Effie's from France.
Effie is not from France.
Effie's a lovely name.
Is Effie? Where's Effie from?
Hungary.
Oh, whoops.
Anyway, moving on.
Sorry, Effie.
Close enough.
We know the community very well.
Obviously Derek and I have had members come and go over the 2 years, but for example, Zordorak Waken, who's one of our officers, I've known him for roughly 4 or 5 years, and he was one of my first WoW RP friends. And he's been in this guild since I started it again. He did take a wee break, as Kelly likes to mention, but he's been one of our long-standing members. I'm really grateful for the members that have come over with us as well when we did our change over the last few weeks. They've been a great support for us. And for example, I've got members such as like Leah and Jessica that have been with us for a year. I've got members like Ashlyn, who's been with us for 2 years, I think. She was started with Derek, so she was on Derek's half when we did the merging, but she stayed with us for that time. And each of their sort of characters are different, and I've got Rendorai speaking quite nicely with paladins, which you might not expect, and then I've got a Death Knight in the guild as well, Revy.
Oh, wow.
But Revy's got that sort of unique RP that attracts people, and they quite like to read her emotes because she's one of those people who does really big emotes. And then I've got mages. I've got one of my few male night elf in the guilds, Javen.
Sorry.
What were you gonna say, Kelly?
I have a fair share of my mages, of course.
Yes.
I just have to get that in there. That's.
I've got quite a lot of new members as well, which is great. We've got Abe, who's a new member, Koshua, who's a returning member. So he used to be with us and then took a break and then came back. And they come back because, or they stay because I like to think that we've created a nice community for them to sort of RP in and be happy and feel safe, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They feel that they can socialize, and especially in the Discord, I've got channels for them to RP maybe when they can't RP. Like I've got the IC Roleplay channel where they can post stories. I've got art channels. I've got the photos of pets on us channels where they can pet picture.
Other games.
Yeah.
Channel is a crucial part of any Discord server.
Oh, and they've got a meme channel.
You have me sweating. I haven't even put one on AD Creators.
They've got a famous quotes channel. We've got a lot of famous quotes in the previous Stone Skill, now House Nightwind, that they like to sit and giggle at. They've got a screenshot channel. I like to think that I've created enough channels, obviously, for them to be able to post what they like, where they like, but not safe for work.
Oh no, fuck that.
I'm not a fan of the
no.
not safe for work.
I mean,
we had one before.
If you want that, I can send you to some other websites where you can find something like that. Not in my role-playing Discord, Miss Honey, absolutely.
Yeah, I need one for a friend.
Okay.
And they've even got a lore questions and discussions channel, so they can sit and.
That's quite a neat idea, actually.
Well, they used to do it in general, and I was sick of seeing it.
Yeah, you know what? You all need to move.
I was like, move to this. I can mute the channel, and I don't have to look in here. And they've got a spoiler chat as well, so anything that's considered spoiler, for example, Wowhead posts in there all the time about updates for WoW, and they can chat about movies that they've seen in there.
Like WoW.
They don't. Like when they all saw the Avengers movie, they were all banished to that chat if they wanted to talk about it.
We had to create a temporary Game of Thrones spoilers channel while that.
Oh yeah, they were in there as well for that as well.
I wouldn't even feel bad about spoiling it at this point now, considering how bad it is.
Oh no, I felt that was too rushed. But I think that they've got enough chats for them. Like they even have a barracks chat, a barracks RP channel where they can RP with people when they can't RP. So they can create an RP sense. I think they're compared to other Discords that I've seen, I think they're quite lucky. Not I don't want to say lucky, but what I mean, like they're quite fortunate that they've got all these. Yes. I'm in other.
They'll never be able to be in another guild again.
I'm in other guild Discords, but they don't have very many channels for them to utilize, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's where members can sit and comment, it's maybe just the officers that can comment in these ones. But I like to think that, like, I have an IC notice board, for example, where the members can, if they're a stable hand and they want to help with your horse, or if they're a blacksmith and they're looking for work or whatever, creates a bit more RP between them, I think.
Yeah. And also, I think it helps keep the sense of community there, and it helps keep the connection to your character and to your roleplay there, even if you can't access the game for.
Oh, definitely. I think that's why we made it. Obviously, the IC roleplay channel we have is for big stories. So that's just where it's them talking to themselves, basically. But the other channels they can use to talk to other people. So they might write so-and-so walks into the inn. and then someone else might walk into the inn, and then they'll have a sit and chat and have a beer or something. Yeah.
Alright. Last question then. What does your guild do during its downtime? Do they have like an area where they hang out specifically?
So obviously Kelly talked about this earlier, but you know, we've been trying to base ourselves in Lakeshire recently, to allow the members to be out of Stormwind, but that's quite hard as Stormwind is one of the RP hubs.
Have you thought about doing some sort of tavern night or something?
Well, we want to. I'm really interested in creating an RP hub for people to come to us. You know, quite like how people go to Oldham Nights, for example. But
Yeah.
you know, something that's like people would come if they're riding through. They would stop wherever you are and you know RP in that area. But it's just trying to find a nice area for that sort of thing that's not already considered one of those RP hubs. For example, like Darkshire is an RP hub just now. Quite a lot of people go there. The Grove in Duskwood. Javen will love that I've mentioned that, so that's okay. That's an RP hub, you know, a lot of people go there. But it's just trying to find somewhere.
Don't forget Goldshire, though.
I mean, technically.
That is it is an RP hub.
Nope.
A goblin has briefly invaded my screen, by the way. If you guys want to
The
say hi
Horde
to
are
Rocket.
invading.
Oh, hello.
Oh
Rocket.
no!
He's hijacking the stream.
That's one of our old members. Oh, Rocket, oh my god. I'm gonna kill you. Because you messaged me earlier as well.
Hi, Luna.
Hi, Luna.
Sorry, interrupted for a moment there. If you have anything else to add.
Yeah, well, they also enjoy playing this game. I don't know if you've heard of it. Called Dwarfstone.
Is it
Is that
the
the
character
one where
again?
they mine or something? Or am I thinking of
well,
a different game?
Well, basically, Dwarfstone, you play it with the autographed Hearthstone card. And you flip it over until you get a legendary. And when you get a legendary, you can sit down, and the last person standing has to do a dare, in a sense.
So everyone's in a circle, yeah,
Oh.
and then you take turns flipping the card.
Yeah, so it's like a game of chance, really. The guild really enjoy playing it, but we normally have to take them somewhere that a lot of our peers aren't, because obviously it spams the chat. Our previous member actually showed it to us, and they've just loved playing it since. I think dwarfs play it quite a lot, obviously because it's Dwarfstone, but I think they're...
I remember that now. It was, I can't remember what the guild was called though. I remember.
Is it the Iron Brand Reserve?
Yeah, that's it.
maybe?
They tried to get the Myrmidon to play with them, but I mean the Myrmidon weren't really fond of them.
Yeah, well...
I know, it was just like, nope.
But yeah, they also obviously for their downtime they enjoy playing, for example, Classic, since that's just come out.
Yes.
We've obviously made a guild on that as well for them to just level in. Not really a content guild yet.
Or a role-playing guild either, no.
No, I mean, I'm quite a fan of maybe not RPing in Classic. I quite like RPing in retail because
Yeah.
I don't know, I just prefer it. Obviously, you know, hats off to people who want to RP in Classic. I couldn't do that. I would get confused about what the lore
It's
was.
a lot of keep track of, yeah. I can imagine
but-
there's a lot of slip-ups.
Oh yes, but you know, our members have started leveling together there. They play Heroes of the Storm, obviously, Overwatch on their downtime. You know, their League, Dota.
No.
You know, they play a lot of games together on their downtime. Ark, that's another one. They play Ark together.
Ooh.
I haven't
Okay.
heard Ark mentioned in a long time.
They play that together quite happily because I was going to get it and they were all laughing at me that I would die the first few minutes. Apparently.
I haven't
So.
played in a while either. We should probably start moving on to the spotlight of events though.
Oh yes.
So I mean you're welcome to stick around if you want, or you could leave if you
While
want as
we
well.
talk through some events
Yeah.
coming up.
Oh,
sorry,
I'll
I'm
just
not
stick
here.
around, that's fine, yeah. I'll stay here.
Let's have a look. No, this is the wrong page. Right. There isn't that many on Alliance, and you have a long list for Horde.
Oh man, I gotta work for my keep.
Alright. for the Alliance, we have the Festival of the Tides, hosted by Grey Tide, which is on the 1st of September, 7 Realm time, in the evening that is, obviously. In Upton Borough, Borealis, they listed the Tide Sage seminar at 8 o'clock, a brawling contest at 9. There's going to be like a lost and found raffle being held, an open market with a variety of stalls. I might be in one of those stalls, considering there's 2 guilds I'm in going there, so I don't know which character yet.
But which one are you going with?
Yeah. To be honest, it'll probably be my other character, considering the druid I have just falls asleep 24/7.
Sleepy druid.
She's very lazy. I mean, if you're also wishing to open a stall or add any additional entertainment, Grey Tide seems to be very open to it. Just give him a poke, really. Otherwise, it's Horde. On to you.
All right then. Okay, so the first one up for Horde has not been given a name because
Koshhog.
Hughes is a terrible note taker.
I forgot to put the title, but it is Koshhog.
Koshhog, okay. Its contact is Nosh Marak, Noshmarak, right? There's an Argent Archives link. Let me just drop that in the chat for you guys in case you're wanting that. There you go. There's the Argent Archives link. This starts at 8 round time in Nagrand in Outlands. I believe they've done ones like this before, but this seems to be over a span of a few days. I'm not sure if they've been that long before.
Yeah, the more
Maybe
recent
they
ones
have. And they have. Okay, I'm just terrible. So the time has come once more to celebrate tradition and unity. Strife continues to nip at the throats of the Horde and the Alliance, yet the orcs, as is tradition, lay down their arms twice a year to revere the hallowed ancestors, right? So it's kind of like, it's a very traditional orc-based thing, but I believe it's open to all races. I'm going to give you a super, super quick and fast rundown of the events. It runs from Monday the 16th of September to Sunday the 22nd of September. So it lasts for a while, you guys. So if you can't make one night, just check in the Argent Archives there, because you can probably make another night. There's the opening ceremony on the first day, a date auction, and a pilgrimage, right? On the Tuesday, there's the Great Outland Wolf Race, the archery contest, Brawlgar, and a story night. So that's going to be a packed one, which sounds like it's going to be bags of laughs. On Wednesday, then, there's Miss Koshrag, which, honestly, just go to see it. It's going to be good. Iron Fortitude and Omrigger? I'm trying to do Horde words, but I'm so bad. And there's another thing on the Wednesday, but it's yet to be announced. So if you have any ideas that you'd like to put forward, get in touch with them and let them know. On the Thursday, there's the Challenge of the Wyvern, the Challenge of the Crane, the Drunken Backwards Race, which sounds hilarious.
Oh, let's go.
Love that.
On the Friday, there's a grand market, lore walking, and the aspect of the pack. And I'm sure there's more details on what these events pertain if you want to look into that on the Argent Archives page. On the Saturday, then, we have the Dazzle Tourney, the Sing to Your Ancestors, and the Last Drinker Standing. And on Sunday, you have the closing ceremony, ogre hunting, and a pet battle tournament, which are always pretty fun. I think Kat in the chat there is pretty good at those. Oh, no, sorry. Not pretty good at those. I think she got trashed last time she tried.
Ouch.
Could have been better next time.
So try again. So that is going on over a course of a week in September, and you should come and check it out if you're on Horde side, because it looks like it's going to be amazing. There's at least one thing every night there that looks like it's going to be brilliant. There's also...
There's no more for Horde.
Hang on now. Fuse.
Oh, you have an event as well?
Fuse?
Yeah?
Hold on to your knickers, please. God damn.
Jeez. Alright, that's all yours.
There is also we run a tavern on Wednesdays in Wayfarer's Rest. You can come check that out. We run a clinic on Tuesdays, so it's usually currently on right now, but I believe they're probably in Classic tonight, so try next week maybe. If you want to go to the clinic, actually, if you think you've got a Horde character that would be interested in something like occupational therapy, counselling, any kind of healing, any kind of medication, if you want to make an appointment outside of Tuesday, if Tuesdays don't work for you, just let us know. We were totally happy to arrange that. And then there's a tavern on Wednesdays, and I believe the Relinquary Institute, I think that's the right name, run weekly lectures on the lore of Quel'Thalas on Saturday evenings about 8 p.m. server time as well in the Reliquary office. I'm saying that word wrong, and I know. So just
Reliquary. I believe.
Reliquary. There you go. There you go. In their office, that's where they run those little talks. I think the last one was on the Troll Wars. I'm not sure what this week's topic is yet, but they're pretty interesting to check out as well. Now, Fuse, now you can go and do your neutral
Maybe
ones.
I don't want to. Alright, just quickly skimming through the neutral ones. There is another... why didn't I put the names on this? There's a monk tournament hosted by Thiyun, Krasarang and Madame Yun. Otherwise known as Grizik, or the guild leader for the Serpent Sisterhood, I believe. It's pretty much just a Pandaren martial arts tournament. There's different, you know, entries for whatever stage your character might be at. You know, novice, intermediate, all that. Second neutral event we have hosted by Pierre Revert, I think it is.
Pierre Revert.
I think it's more of a villains event, this one, where they're trying to...
Villains event?
Trying to bring back the Twilight Hammer, you know, what with...
oh, cultists!
N'Zoth and that, you know, being free.
Yikes.
Should be fun, give
Well,
him
yeah.
I
During
think,
some...
I think he's looking for some suggestions. There is a Discord link on the Argent Archives link that we have here. What they seem to be planning to do is like just a bunch of world events popping up random areas with like cultists and like in the shape of ogres, nagas and all sorts. Well, naturally Katie has mentioned the Merchant's Last Coin and the Reliquary
Well, I didn't know we were separating them into separate things.
I put them in order, Katie.
So I'm in the wrong. It's fine.
No, it's fine. God.
We're gonna have a domestic on stream right now.
Get in. Get in.
We need someone to say stop fighting, please.
Please stop fighting, please. Please.
Please keep on.
Really?
Alright.
Inciting violence.
Well, listen, I did the Horde side ones, so you do the Alliance side ones.
We have the Compass Tavern Night hosted by the lovely Moonspear, which is on the 7th of September at 8:30 Realm Time, and on the 14th of September 8:30 Realm Time. We'll link the Argent Archives, you'll find the location there. I think it's in like the more posh sides of Borealis.
Posh side?
Yeah.
Posh.
Posh sides.
So near the puppy house.
Also we have again the Storm and Depreciation Society. It's their 100th event, it seems.
Wow.
It's quite a lot. You should probably, you know, drop by,
Respect.
go check them out. You could probably, if you look at my screen where we have our goblin flying.
Oh, is he still there?
If you see those stairs,
Rocket!
if you see those stairs leading down into the park.
What's happening?
Go back to classic Rocket.
I love how it floats down.
It's a great rocket, to be honest. Or a gyrocopter, whatever. Helicopter.
Luna.
If you see those stairs popping, hello. Okay, we have another one. If you see those stairs popping down in the back with the lion head statue, you know, pouring into water into the fountain, I believe the Storm and Appreciation, Poetry Appreciation is hosted over there.
Oh, I love. Oh, great! It's Roleplay. You know what?
Oh, it's a role player. Of course it is.
Otherwise, I believe that's it. I haven't missed anything in my list, have I?
No, I think we got them all. If
Yay.
you do know of an event that we have missed because we're terrible, just give us a poke on the Discord, which is linked below, I believe, or in-game, or wherever you want to give us a poke, and let us know, and we'll absolutely include them next time.
I think we got all the AA events as well.
Yeah, we tend to go through the forums and it's a good thing that someone on the forums now has a calendar upcoming events that they tend to update. So it's easier to go through that than it is to scout the entire forums.
She's great.
Yeah. So a round of applause to Chatty at least. Yeah, thanks for joining us. If you haven't followed, please follow. There's also YouTube that this will be uploaded on. If you want to subscribe to there, there's a bunch of
Hopefully with the
videos.
links to the events and things below, as well as the link to the lovely guild that has joined us today.
Yep.
Yay.
Thank you for having us. Again,
Thank
me
you
or
very
Oli?
much for having us.
It's
It's
no
been a
problem.
delight as always. The real question is, though, is Kelly going to be back again next week?
Probably. Probably. I
No,
mean,
Kelly
This is
Kelly
like
would just
a
be on.
subtle
Kelly's just
coup that he's
hijacking
doing
the
here.
show.
Let's make it run as long as possible with Kelly.
We'll just, he'll just start being furniture and nobody's even gonna notice.
you're gonna need antibiotics to get rid of me.
Please don't start. Please don't.
Oh, okay.
I know you knew how.
I know.
don't
Thank
say
you,
it.
Belle. Very
Do
clever.
not
of you.
say it. Don't say it.
I'm curious
Okay.
now.
Shut up, Belle, so they can.
We can just start using him as ambience. Yeah, thanks for joining. Again, follow please, subscribe to YouTube, check out the Dawn Scale,
Nightwind. House Nightwind now.
House Nightwind. Yes. Also join the AD Creators Discord if you haven't already. It's
Which
been
I
growing quite a
linked.
bit.
Although I called it 80 creatures, which
Yeah,
essentially
80
is
creatures.
the same thing.
It's the same thing, to be
I
honest.
just need to
isn't
go to
it?
bed, you guys.
God, I'm
I
gonna tell
can't-
them. I'm gonna tell them you insulted them now.
80 creatures.
Creatures.
I'll see myself out.
Same.
Join AD Creators if you haven't already. It's become quite active quite lately. Actually, there's a lot of really good artists.
There's a
posting
lot of really amazing
fantastic
art
Yeah.
and just awesome people on there.
And general conversations happening now and again as well. It's a good place to be. I still plan on hosting maybe a bit of a Scribble.io for us in that chat.
Yes.
Yes.
Could be fun, but you know, I'm forgetful and a slacker sometimes. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for joining again, and see ya.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.